Our subject is the power of reframing, and it plays off what we talked about last week and being able to just look at things from a different perspective because the way that you think about something completely changes the way you feel about something, and it can change what feels like a detrimental circumstance or situation into a growth opportunity or into just an opportunity to learn. And from there, your mind just completely changes how it sees it and therefore finds ways to make it a positive situation or find the positive in the situation.
Yeah, I would say looking at it from when you think about your thoughts and starting from that standpoint of how you're looking at a certain situation, your thoughts towards that situation affect your emotions to that situation, which then affects the actions you have from that situation, and that dictates your results. So if you and it sounds like a lot, and we don't think about this when we're in the middle of a situation. It's boom, this thing happened, and we have, I don't know, less than 5 seconds to sometimes for us, it can be an initial reaction or like an initial thought. And there is power in reframing because you can have those negative thoughts and catch yourself and then switch it to how you want to look at the situation. Like people talk
Mm-hmm.
about from saying I failed versus saying I learned or like different things like that. It's really just a matter of the words that you choose to use to look at those situations.
Yeah. Or like, why is this happening to me versus why is this happening for me? Or what is in this situation for me? Because we can easily get stuck in victimhood, and nothing is coming from victimhood but stuckness. And if you want to be stuck, then that's where you're going to be. But if you're in a situation of like, all right, this sucks really bad, and I got this. So what are we going to turn this into? That's
Mhm.
just opens up your mind, and your mind has so many, it's just so powerful, and it can find opportunities, and it opens up your energetic field to start attracting opportunities and to find somebody who totally gets where you're going through or understands the struggle. Like you never know the incredible things that can come from just the way that you look at something differently.
Yeah, I've been listening to a book recently. It's called Ask and It Is Given. And one of the things that it talked about is how your subconscious could be compared to GPS because like you're giving yourself this destination and it's giving you the route to get there. But you're the one that's, if I forget exactly the example, but something along the lines of if you're getting stuck in traffic or like you decide to take another route because you're like, oh, I know this route is better. But sometimes, and I've had this happen to me more recently, where it's like I've started to trust the GPS more because obviously it should be able to catch traffic ahead of time. So it's helping you find the
Right.
best route po possible. But it's interesting because, yeah, if it's easy for the GPS to just tell us, or even with a recipe, you get the ingredients and they're like, this is how you do it. And sometimes, I don't know, you try and follow it, but it doesn't turn out the way that it was supposed to. And there might be something that you missed that you didn't even notice that you did incorrectly. I actually had this in real life happen recently. But yeah, so it's interesting just thinking about how our subconscious really does affect everything. And if we're not intentional about it or thinking about it, we're just going with the flow without really understanding what we're doing or how we're getting there.
Yeah, and we have, for some obnoxious reason, probably survival, but we have this like tendency to have that negative bias that we've talked about before. And so it's just easy for our brain to immediately go to negative, and it's easy for our brain to just think this is such a bad thing that's happening, or of course I'd get stuck in traffic, or whatever the negative aspect is. And if you catch yourself, which is really the biggest hurdle to get over, is getting into the habit of catching that natural habit of being negative and immediately being like, hold on, no, we're not doing that today. We're going to look at it a different way and change the meaning immediately so that as soon as possible, we can start to reframe. We can start to look for the opportunities of how we can grow, how we can learn, and how we can harvest the good out of that situation and change our emotional state because it's easy to get stuck into a crappy down state. But the sooner we can pop ourselves out of it, the better and the easier it is.
Yeah, I think it's interesting too when you have those experiences that you are able to reframe and then you're able to look at it from a different perspective of how, like they say that it's better to say life is working. What is the saying? To me, not for me. For
For me, not to me.
for me, not to me.
Mm.
And you can see those things like something that happened in the moment, you're thinking, why did this happen? Versus when you reframe it, you can be like, oh, I didn't see it that way. But in all actuality, I needed this to get me to either that next step or whatever the case may be.
And I feel like that you can look back at your own life and find examples. Maybe if everyone took like a second and just thought of an example of a time you broke up with someone, or you lost a job, or you missed out on what you felt was an opportunity, and it all ended up working out exactly the way it should. Like you ended up meeting the person that you were supposed to be with, or just you ended up meeting a better person and you ended up getting a better job, or you ended up being able to work for yourself and like really had to dive into entrepreneurship. Happened to me. All of that felt like very scary and shitty at the time. And I am happy I am where I am now. But there are those times where you found yourself like, fuck, what is this? Like, why is this
Hmm.
happening to me? And now that you're in a different emotional state and you've made your way out of it and you found the opportunities in it, you can now look at it and say, damn, thank God that happened. Thank goodness that's not what I thought was my path is not my path. Does anyone have an experience like that they want to share where their life pivoted in a way that they thought was going to be terrible, ended up being fantastic? Exactly. No, that's exactly right. Absolutely.
Love that.
And it's so important to draw from that situation, right? Like anytime you hit one of those like crossroads or what feels like a dead end, or you can look back on that and feel like, shit, if I made it through that, whatever. I got this.
I have one that I think is good to think about, especially when you're getting into something new for me, and especially when it's like business related, like when you're putting financial stress on something or like an outcome, like you're like, oh, I want this to work because you're thinking about, obviously, if you're starting from scratch and you're building a business or you're getting into something like real estate for the first time, I had started to focus on connecting, and while I did do some deals and it was great to do, I pivoted away from solely focusing on that because there was just so much more to it that I wasn't aware of that at the time I was like, why is this not happening? We're doing all the steps, we have all these systems in place, and it's crazy because I've gotten to the other side of that where there has been like countless of opportunities that we had our hands in that we were close to connecting on that have since defaulted. And obviously, like you never know. And that's where I think the connecting sounds like a really great strategy, but the tools of being able to raise capital, like I still got something out of it, and I can use those skills for my own deals. And it's just more comforting knowing that I know what my word is and like I can figure things out. And for me, it's one of those things where I know like I would always be able to figure something out if I had to. And you can't really say the same for just anybody. And yeah, it was hard because in the moment we were so frustrated at how many deals were falling through the cracks. But in hindsight, I'm so blessed that I'm not dealing with that crazy aftermath that's happened since then.
And I'm sure it helps you have like more of a discerning eye when people claim things are easy, or just like a we should get into this because of XYZ, and you're like, yeah, everybody said about this, because it takes diving into something like that to just be like, that's not what y'all said it was. And now you
And
can
it's
look at,
scary because people will say one thing when when
oh, I
it's
know.
not. Like on the outside, it looks all cute and dandy, and then you really
Mm-hmm.
hear the secrets behind the wall, and you're like, dang, nobody's talking about this part of it. And that's, yeah,
Right.
it's hard because a lot of people they get that FOMO of like, why isn't it working for me? When in reality, it's barely working for anybody.
I know. Yeah, I know a lot of us in here are in real estate, but I recently got into like digital products and social media and all that, and everyone claims they'll download these 3 apps and make money while you sleep. Like none of that is true. You got to put in work. You got to grow the audience, and growing the audience takes time, and making the products and the sales funnels and all of that takes time. And it's so frustrating to just continually watch people lie about how easily they're just like throwing shit up online and claiming to make money. And it's unfortunate watching people fall for it. But if you so in that situation, I could look at it and just be like, "Oh, that's so frustrating," and then reframe it into, "Yeah, but I'm going to do it differently." And I'm going to tell people the honest truth. For you, I'm sure when people ask you about that, you can be like, "Hey, yes, it can work, but these are the things that you need to look out for," instead
Hmm.
of just taking that opportunity to just shit on the industry or act like the victim that it didn't work out for you. No, it can work, and this is how it would work best for you. And having that ability to reframe things just gets people so much further in life than just claiming everything doesn't work, or it's not what people say, or they got lied to, or whatever it is that people stay stuck in. Having the ability to just look at things and say, hey, this was frustrating, it didn't work out the way I thought, but this is how I'm pivoting and how I'm going to do things differently so that I can be a different voice, or I can show people a different way.
Daniel, you got one to share with us? Fair enough.
Not this time around. This time, it's honestly not similar experiences that I've had. I just want to soak up what you guys have because I feel like I'm gonna encounter what you guys are going through sooner or later.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
I dig it. Gotta love a man who knows when to talk and when not to talk.
It's funny.
I feel like we made it through this document pretty quickly. Hopefully everyone has a copy of it, but there are like some exercises to do if you guys are interested in doing them later, or if it's something that you're currently stuck on. You're just like, I don't, you guys are talking a lot of what sounds like a good idea, but I'm having a hard time moving through something, and you don't necessarily want to share it. Maybe take the time and go through some of these exercises where you can journal, my favorite thing, and just reflect on something that feels immovable. Just can't make it through, don't know how I'm gonna get past this. Just write down some things. Look at it maybe from, if someone came to you with this problem, or someone came to you with this frustration, or what felt like the toughest time in their life, what are some things that you might say to them so that they could look at it differently. I feel like we're really good at giving other people advice, and we very rarely give ourselves that same grace or that same level of just, you got this, you can figure this out. We get stuck in our head sometimes. So just having that, I feel like writing sometimes can feel like third party. So having that ability to just write it out, get out all your emotions about it, and then see what you can do by flipping the story into what it could be. Let's go, Danny. What you got?
So about the reframing part, I haven't really done negative experiences that I feel like are worth sharing, only because I reframed it in a different way and it feels weird, but bear with me. What I've done a couple of times is when I was still living in Tampa, had a shit day, if you will. Whatever it was I was doing, W-2 or whatnot. But then I'll have my dinner, I'll have my gym workout, and then I'll go out to a cigar lounge like I usually do. But then it's weird because I'll have a conversation with myself, and it's like young Daniel earlier in the day, shit day throughout the day, having a conversation with the more mature Daniel that's having a freaking glass of whiskey and a cigar, just talking it out between the two. What would older, wiser Daniel with a cigar and whiskey say to the younger Daniel? About, oh, my day was shit, there's this, that, whatever. And then the cigar Daniel will be like, in the grand scheme of things, is it really worth your time and energy to waste it all when you have other things that you should worry about, such as real estate? And this is like just when I started breaking into it. Then, in a way, that was me trying to reform everything that I thought was going on at the time, where it helped me maintain a little bit more of a positive mindset now.
That's dope as hell. It sounded like your higher self was talking to your current self. Not a lot of people have that, like just gift. Or maybe I shouldn't talk for a lot of people. I don't know what a lot of people have, but I do feel like there's a lot of people stuck. And if they had that voice in their head, they might not be where they are. So that's dope as hell. That's exactly reframing.
Uh, Weird. People thought I was cuckoo.
No, I talk to myself all the time. So I get you. I literally will walk around my kitchen and just be like, listen, da, da, and somebody will walk in and I'm like, oh my God, did you hear any of that?
Yeah.
So
Sometimes I'll plug in my headphones to make it seem like I'm talking to someone else.
I love it.
hide the crazy. Yeah.
I did look into this earlier that there's types of reframes. I think this is good
Mm,
to talk about. But if you look at a self-talk reframe, an example would be I can't do this to I'm learning how to do this. The obstacle reframe would be this is a setback versus this is a setup for something better. And then the identity reframe, I'm not disciplined versus I'm becoming someone who honors my word. And that one stuck out because I know you've talked about the I'm becoming, Monica. I
yeah,
think that's a good way going back to the words that we use and how we're seeing things, or because, and we've said it before, like our subconscious is very literal. So even if we might not think it's harmful to, or think that it's easier, I know I've been a victim of thinking it's easy. I'm like, oh, words are just words, and I'll just say whatever comes to my mind. But it really should, you got to take a step back and pay attention to the words that you're choosing to use because just those simple reframes, it's a muscle that you have to train to get better at.
I agree. Yeah. And it takes repetition, like we said, like just catching yourself and knowing that you don't want to keep talking to yourself that way makes such a difference. And then repeating over and over again.
And I've heard this quote a lot. It says it's Wayne Dyer. Maybe you've heard it, Monica, but just that when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So yeah, that's a good one for you guys to carry.
Definitely one of my faves. And actually, for a book recommendation on this subject, Change Your Paradigm, Change Your Life by
Bob Proctor, right?
Mr. by Bob Proctor. Yeah. And I think Wayne Dyer wrote the foreword to it. I think they were homies. But yeah, it's so good to listen to. And it's that same concept of like literally the frame that you look at your life through will literally change your life. If you look at every single thing as an opportunity, every single thing will be an opportunity. If you look at every single thing as happening to you and you're the victim in the story, you're gonna stay that way. And if you're honest with yourself and you can look back at the times in your life where you allowed yourself to be stuck in one of those periods, things just kept getting shitty. Things are just shitty for a while. And it wasn't until whatever caused you to break that cycle and start looking at things differently did things change.
Like it.
Me too. I love this subject. I wish
Yeah.
Daniel didn't have to go because I was gonna say, if you're door knocking, just get ready for a lot of this because there's gonna be that's one of those things that you just encounter a lot, especially if you're doing pre-foreclosures, is the people who are stuck in things that are happening to them. So much so that they can't even see the opportunity looking them directly in the face. Like we weren't even trying to buy people's houses half the time. We were just
Mm.
like, this is how you can save your house. And they're like, I don't want to hear it. Like, okay. Like I don't there's nothing I can do for you if you're stuck in that space. And no amount of outside support and no amount of help is going to help you get yourself out of there if you're in the space of this is just what it is and I'm stuck here. Because it's 100% not true, but it will be. No, Alexa, we got you. Oh, my actual, the A word just chimed in.
That's funny.
But if you want to send a private message or whatever, happy to give you some encouragement or keep you from falling into that. If you don't want to share with the group, which I totally 100% get. Either
Eh.
one of us, both of us, group chat, I don't care. Hit us up.
And I was gonna say, yeah, we can get into the meditation a little early and then
Okay.
finish up a little
Yeah, we
early
don't
and
have to
circle
force
back
it.
after.
Yeah, we don't have to force the whole call if everyone just wants to absorb. And I am down for the meditation.
Sweet.
Sick Monica is still here, loud and proud. So we're gonna have the raspy voice for today.
Okay, let me share my computer sound.
Tunes.
Yeah. And then we can wrap up this subject after we finish the meditation.
Okay, cool. So get into a seated, comfortable position. Make sure you're sitting nice and tall. Your shoulders are down. You may want to bring your shoulders up and then drop them. And take a deep breath in through your nose, into your belly, then your chest. And fill yourself up with fresh air. And as you exhale, releasing anything that no longer serves you, anything holding you back or old perspectives, any worries or fear that may be holding on to a current situation. With each breath, loosening that grip a little bit, loosening your body, opening your mind, freeing up space. Let's take one more deep breath, feeling your chest expand, Imagining the air moving through all of the open space in your body. And exhale slowly. And maybe without even trying, you can imagine something that you're considering a problem or a worry or something that is just occupying your mind. And listen to the language when you focus on that subject. Oftentimes, the words will be, how will I? How can I? What if? And being able to rearrange those words just a little bit. Maybe we reframe the hows, the what ifs into I will, I can, and when. I will figure this out. I can do this thing. When I am able to. And take a moment and restructure that sentence so that it becomes empowering. I will find a job that brings me joy and enough income to live comfortably, joyfully, generously. I can have the body I'm proud of. I can grow my business. I will grow my business. When I meet the person of my dreams. When I meet the person that loves me for me. When I find the perfect house. When I find peace around this subject. I can enjoy my family. Whatever your subject is, reframe it into I can, I will, when I am. I encourage you at the end of this call to write down your new empowered statement. Keep it with you. Maybe you put it in your wallet, or put it on your mirror, make it your screensaver. Those things may seem silly, but if you look at how much time, space, and energy that subject has been taking up in your body, in your mind, in your day, with the what ifs and if onlys and whatever has been taking up your space. Imagine if just doing this one silly thing by reframing it, writing it down, and putting it somewhere that will remind you what you are capable of, the opportunities available to you, the infinite possibilities your mind is capable of. You will start to, little by little, feel the weight lift off your shoulders. You will find solutions that you didn't see before. If you've created a new statement in your mind, as we close this practice, I recommend as we breathe in our deep breaths that you imagine this statement getting bigger and brighter and bolder in your mind on the screen behind your eyes. Let's take our first deep breath in and watch it grow, getting louder in your mind. And as you exhale, releasing it out into the universe, into your field of energy, absorbing it into all of your cells. Another deep breath in, feeling that new sentence, that new idea becoming solid, becoming real, becoming true. And releasing it out into space. And our final deep breath in, solid, bright. You can hold it in your hands if you wanted to. This is your new reality, your new truth, your mantra, and release it, absorb it, feel it take up all the space in your body, all the space in your mind. You know it is true. Thank you so much for taking the time today and spending it with us, sharing our energies, creating this space together. The light in me sees and loves the light in each of you. Namaste. Feel free to stretch, wiggle your fingers and toes, open your eyes and come back.
Thank you for that, Monica. Ooh,
Welcome, welcome.
yes, just coming back. Oh, that was good. Yeah, I think this topic is definitely a good one. I hope it's something that is becoming more present in your awareness as you guys go through your days and just start catching the little things that I think it's just that reminder of you guys control your life and the way that you want it to be can be your reality. It's just a matter of how you talk to yourself and the energy that you're putting out into the atmosphere. It really is something that we have to rewire and get comfortable with because it's not how we were raised or how we were brought up to think. So, yeah, I hope you guys take it with you throughout the rest of this week. Yeah, unless anyone else had anything else to add. Colton, it's good to see you.
Agreed.
Good to see y'all too.
I always love seeing Raul's picture.
I was gonna say just don't feel like you have to be perfect in it. Moving in the right direction is really all we can ask of ourselves. So,
Yeah, and celebrating those little things because little things add up to
yeah,
big changes over time.
absolutely.
Sweet. All right, guys, I'll let you to it. You have a great rest of your night.
Y'all too.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.